channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Corporations and flagons.
I am Christiana Ellis, and I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn,
Time to smoke out the bad guys.
Jenny Meltzer as Zaleen,
I don't know why we're here, but I don't like it.
Mark Kilfoyle as Vertigo,
It's time to hit the books.
and Starla Hutchton as Carolina Swift.
Hello, friends, I think. Maybe.
So, when last we left our heroes, they had finally, with the help of one Percival Cankers, penetrated the magical shield that was around the island of Dinuthere. Promptly met a very nice young man piloting a giant robot turtle. And he took them to see his boss, who turned out to be Vice President Jeffeths of what seems to be a great big corporation that runs a significant chunk of this place in the land of Dinuthere, which you have been led to understand is controlled by evil magic users who probably would conquer the world if they could get out. So you, by virtue of not stopping this from happening, found yourselves taken to their corporate headquarters, whereupon you were shown to a very nice reading room and had it explained to you that at this point you are the only ones who seem to have any information about how to get through the bubble, and as such, they can't really afford to allow you to leave, but they're really hoping that you would be willing to work with them and help show them how to get in and out of the bubble in exchange for goods and or services, or perhaps even information. And so where we left off last time was the party divided as far as how you wanted to handle things. You have, for the moment, the apparent privacy of this small little room that you're in. I'll go ahead and show us on the map here. You seem to have your privacy for the moment, but you know that this Vice President Jeffeths, this individual you've been mostly speaking to, is right outside. And you also know that somewhere here is Chief Executor Strickland, who had seemed to suggest to you that if you were not agreeable to tell them, they would find ways to ensure that you became so. Perhaps, through methods that you wouldn't like as much as money. What would you like to do?
All right, guys. You know where I stand on this.
Yeah,
Where to
put your
go?
pipe away. That's not going to do anybody any good.
I would like to rage. No, just kidding.
We need to know
Whatever.
more.
I don't know how any of this stuff works anyway, so do what you will.
I think we need to know more. I don't really want to promise them anything, but maybe just tell them we'll do something.
I think Vertigo, without even really needing to roll, that this is going to be kind of a tiered system in the sense that you might be able to get a little bit more information with just words, but probably if you want to get into their top secret stuff, they're going to need something more. At least that's if you are letting them set the terms. They're not just going to say, oh, sure, whatever you want. Top secret archive, come this way.
I think it's important to remember that in a way we kind of have the power here. And if they want to get out, they're gonna have to cooperate with us too. I mean, my biggest thing is that they're being very dictatorial about all of this. They want it on their terms, but it doesn't have to work that way, I don't think.
They do command a considerable amount of power. Not that we don't as well.
So do we.
I'm more concerned that we might destroy what they're working on before we get a chance to find out what it is. I don't know what this place is. I was practically blinded when I looked for the nightmare energy. And yet, when we've seen that much energy before, it manifests in terrible things, obviously terrible things. And while there's some things I don't like, it confuses me. They've reached an equilibrium of sorts, I think. Not perfect. But maybe they'll understand that we want to reach our own equilibrium. We know what we know. And we have
Vertigo,
to be worthy of it.
I think it's really important. I know that you came here because it's been a dream of yours to use that word weirdly. But I think it's really important that we don't lose sight of why we're really here.
There are many reasons.
There's one big reason that we're here, and we can't lose focus on that.
Which one specifically are you referring to? I have a few that are coming to mind.
We came here to stop, to find a solution to the problem that Talitha and everybody else could not, because this cannot stay the way it is. We know that. That's why we're here, to find a solution. Now, I agree that I'm sure there's information we can get from these people, but at the same time, I know how much you love information. And I don't want to lose sight of why we're here to get that information.
That was in my top 5.
Okay.
I will just remind the players that one of the things previously discussed was that at least with a sort of general verbal agreement that you would be willing to perhaps work with them, something like a tour could be arranged.
So I have 2 non-committals and 1 against. So my motion to let loose the chaos has been denied.
Wow, you're starting to sound like them.
I don't think it's a good idea. We don't know what will happen.
Okay.
If what Vertigo is saying is true. I haven't used
how-
that spell yet.
So, if you all want to talk about that a little bit more, I will allow you to roll. Anyone who has proficiency in it can roll Arcana to try to take a guess at. And Vertigo, because you kind of have been studying this most specifically, I think you can roll this with advantage to try to get a sense of what might happen if you use the pipe here.
30.
Wow. So that's a natural
I rolled
20.
a 26
Okay. Well,
too, but my
Yeah.
ping wasn't
That
connected,
would
so
also
it
be
didn't
very
go
good.
through.
Okay. So that would also be very good, but also Vertigo rolled a natural 20, giving a total of 30. You think based on what you saw when you did the um, when you did the sense detect nightmare, right? And you saw that the energy here, like, even, you did this outside, right, at the city, much less here in, like, the headquarters of one of these places, and it was just almost overwhelming. And you feel like, because the nightmare energy here is so high, broadly speaking, and it's not discrete, it's not like only in this person and not that person, for example, you think that it could cause a chain reaction of sorts, if you were to use it here. It would certainly extract the nightmare energy, but you would probably not be able to control how much is extracted and from what.
I think the method that Rupino came up with the pipe was very clever, but I think he was also dealing with a much more concentrated form of the nightmare energy. If anything, we may be able to find out what they're using here when they capture the breach events. It
Um,
should be of a similar technology.
So I just to add one more detail to that, you think that it would be extremely effective at sort of handling the stuff that's happening here. It would be supremely disruptive to their operations. Um, and probably it wouldn't hurt you directly in the process. But you cannot say the same for any of the other people here who might be suffused with the energy.
It would be bad, to quote one of my former teachers. Um,
You know what? I'll just go ahead and give to you. It would be almost kind of the equivalent of using a magic nuke that would hurt everybody but you.
do you remember Rupino's other solution, where he was
Yeah.
willing to destroy half the material plane in order to contain what's happening here? I fear that while the spark may be smaller, the results might be the same size.
Oh, well,
And if we already know that there is energy leaking out into our plane, it very well could also leak out that
Excuse me.
danger too.
Let me clarify. You don't think it would do the whole bubble of the island of Dinut there, but it might, for example, do a whole building.
The scale is unpredictable at this point. We may be able to try to contain some of it within a magic circle or some other ward of protection, but maybe we need to experiment carefully.
okay. But are we talking, you know, half the island, half the material plane? I mean, what's the scale?
I think it would depend upon exactly what the concentration is in the area. There are wards here, I suspect, which allow some of the energy to be repelled, so it might offer some containment so that it might only be the compound or the building. But if the wards fail, or if we were in a more open area, the results would be more unpredictable.
Hmm. Okay.
Still,
Probably should save it as a last resort.
if this place is affected by Titan energy, you remember what happened when the Titan left? The entirety of that place was destroyed. It may very well be the same sort of gap. And it may also be directed at us more, given that the pipe generally does cause some sort of manifestation of a creature. And I don't think that we want to fight Titan-sized energy just yet.
Well, my thought was that when we extract the nightmare, it tends to go after the person that it came out of, and we usually join in that fight to protect that person. But if that person is hell bent on destroying us or the material plane, or we just decide that they're evil and need to be done away
Oh,
with,
do you
you
remember
know,
when we brought the creature out of Trentonel, how powerful it was?
yeah,
Imagine an entire building's worth of people who've been exposed to this for a long time, and how powerful a creature that might be.
Also, I think it's important not to place judgment on whether or not people are evil or that they deserve to be destroyed by their nightmares. I mean, this is a society that's lived this way for who knows how long.
Something
Yeah,
like
and
80
even some of their
years.
own people decided that was not good and sealed them off from everybody else. Like that says a lot. Just saying.
Um, Carolina, make a perception check.
I want to make sure it goes to the perception.
Mhm.
16.
16 is pretty good. I think that as you're having this conversation, as we have established with your true sight, you kind of have to focus on it, right? Like you have to be using it deliberately. Um, and I think you had actually looked around here in the room with it when you first got here, if I recall correctly. But you
Yes.
hadn't had it like continuously up. But I think that in this case, you're sort of like have just enough sort of peripheral awareness with it that you feel like you catch something out of the corner of your eye.
Hmm. Well, I definitely want to investigate that a little bit.
When you look directly at it and focus, it does appear it is a small little hovering magic orb, which you, I think, don't have to make a rule to understand is probably a scrying sensor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I don't appreciate that. So I'm going to use shatter on it.
This is a pretty small room.
Don't care.
Okay.
I'm just in that kind of a mood.
Okay. All right. Well, go
Wait a sec.
ahead and
I'm in the mood to cause chaos, and I don't get to. But
Too bad.
okay. Well, let's see. Shatter. What's the radius on
Like,
shatter?
couldn't we just do dispel magic on it or something?
Look, this is my mood and I am in charge of it.
Just a moment. No, I am not unhappy here.
It's a 10-foot radius sphere.
Okay, yeah. So what that means is that let's see. It essentially means that everyone but Zinhorn needs to make a Constitution saving throw against Carolina's. And that includes you, Carolina. I mean, because you're
I know.
in the radius of effect of your own spell here. So, um,
9.
Is it
Rolling
obvious
like a
she's
boss
casting a
tonight.
spell?
I mean, I think you, yeah. Are you going to try to counterspell her?
Well, there's a lot of danger in doing explosive spells in small rooms, and
I
he's not
mean-
really good at Constitution. So yeah, I think he'll counterspell, just a third level counterspell.
So somewhere in the building here, on the other side of this scrying spell, you get a ooh.
What was that all about? That looked dangerous.
Can I? Is
I
this a thing I can grab?
No, I mean it's
Or no?
intangible. You could grab
Yeah.
at it. You could like hold your hands around it,
It's invisible though, right?
and it is stationary because it's based on the location.
Hmm.
Like it's invisible to anyone who doesn't have true sight and knows where it is.
What's going on? What are you looking at?
There's a thing right here. Like, I'm sorry, forgot. You guys can't see it. Trying to figure out. Let's see. I don't think I have dispel magic.
Is it? Can you point me in the direction and describe it to me?
Oh wait, I do have dispel magic. Okay, I'm gonna
Oh.
use that.
Okay.
Yep, doing it. Okay.
All right. Are you just what level are you casting it at?
3rd level.
So that just means you're going to need to make a spell casting ability modifier, which for you is going to be a charisma check. to see if, because it's a higher level than third spell that you're trying to dispel.
Are you kidding me?
Wow, natural one. Yeah, so you attempt.
Hell.
Yeah, you attempt to dispel, and it resists. It kind of flickers for a moment, but then remains.
Why? Why?
Did that
Why do my
work?
dice hate me? No.
Do you have to be able to see it to cast dispel magic?
I don't, not necessarily. I think, yeah. Hang on.
It just says one creature, object, or magical effect within range. It doesn't say
Yeah.
that you can see.
I think. Hmm.
You have to
Yeah,
be able to
yeah.
target it though. So yeah,
Well, but if you know where it is, it's like most spells that say that you have to be able to see will say that explicitly. And if it doesn't say that, then I assume that means it's not required. You have to know that it's there to target it. But if you're told that there's a scrying sensor, then yes, I believe that that will work.
Okay, I will cast it at level 4.
Okay. That's still going to require a check,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess is which is it for you since you have multi-class? I don't know how that works. It depends
It's
on which slot you're using, I guess.
that is a cleric spell, so I would have to use my wisdom.
Okay.
7.
Yeah, so once again, it flickers, but remains. And then I think after a moment, you hear just knock, knock, knock on the door. It's like, everything okay in there?
No.
Should I come back in?
I am
You
going
might
to
as well.
angrily throw open the door.
Okay. Yes, are we close to coming to some kind of an arrangement? How can I help you?
Well, first of all, you could get rid of your little spy.
Oh,
Don't appreciate that.
I apologize. I will ensure that they remove that immediately. They did that without clearance from me. I apologize. Just one moment. And then he kind of, holds his hand up to his head for a moment, like mentally sending something, presumably. And as you watch, it does disappear. Terribly sorry about that. It's standard protocol here. I just didn't even really think about it, but I understand you requested privacy, so I apologize. It should be gone. Did you need to still discuss, or
I don't think
perhaps
there's anything left to discuss. I think the consensus is that we will agree to work with you for now. And that's the most that we can offer.
That
So,
is wonderful
trade.
news. I am very happy to hear that. Perhaps on that basis, as a sign of our good faith, I can give you a tour of our facility, and you can see some of what we have to offer. And perhaps then we can come to some sort of an arrangement for how we can compensate you in exchange for helping us discover a means of penetrating this magical seal. How's that sound?
Perfect. Great. Let's
good.
go.
All right. So he says, "All right then. So I have given these tours before, but first, is there anything in particular you are interested in seeing, with a forewarning that we have our most top secret archives that of course would need board clearance to access, and so we would need something more on paper, so to speak, to access those areas. But I can certainly take you to all of the non top secret areas.
Perfect. Let's go.
All right, I will just lead the way then. And so I'll just use one of these little tokens to be him. And so I think rather than have you actually just move your tokens around the map here, we can just imagine that you're going anywhere because I don't have line of sight on set up on the map or fog of war or anything. So you can just kind of look around at everything. And so I would say you can look at this whole map and ask me questions about any particular areas, and I can also just give some, some running commentary about it. But he's starting by saying, this level is our primary office work level where we do a lot of our bookkeeping and accounting and managing contracts and negotiations and deals. I can arrange for you to speak to one of our accountants if you're interested. This is, where we keep a lot of our ledgers and guiding you through. And then, you see, of course, there's that big open lobby. And then over up at the north side, there's there's a fountain there and lots of fancy desks. And it says, so this is primarily the level where we do a lot of our scroll making and bookkeeping and just record keeping broadly.
What's down there?
Oh, yes. Well, that's where we will head next. You briefly saw, of course, that the top level is primarily living spaces for our workers and bunk houses and recreational facilities and such. We didn't pass through many of them, but that's primarily what goes on up there. I can show you around up there if you like. But I suspect you'll be more interested in what goes on next level down. Is that right?
Most likely.
Yes. All right. Well, our next level down, and I will go ahead and move us on the map. And whoops, I put you on it, and then I have to go to it. All right. So, on this level, this is where we have our big conference room for board meetings. We also have some artificing workshops here and our smelting and blacksmithing stations where we refine the ores and other materials that we bring up out of the mines that are below in the tunnels below the lowest finished level. This facility primarily makes specialized constructs which are then transported to another location, specialized parts for the constructs, which are transported to another location for final assembly. But we make a lot of the most secret, proprietary, and expensive and complicated components here. And then when they're transported elsewhere, it's, the final building together. But here's where the actual crux of what makes a construct work the way it does is all done here. And, you're looking through some areas where you see magic wards that are just kind of like you could pass through it, but you can see that there's these sort of magic membranes that are keeping the extreme heat of that smelting area from getting out into the main lobby. And you see that in some of these other stations, there's lots of just kind of like various components and parts being sorted and stored and worked on, and a lot of people at desks who seem to be hard at work on like enchanting various little bits and bobs of what you suspect will go into making a construct. And then he says, as you're looking at the big conference room there, you see that there is an individual who looks very much like a very imperious looking tiefling, sitting at one of the big chairs, and he says, now we currently have 3 active members of the board. Only one is in residence at the moment, but they can hold a board meeting at any time via communication illusions. But we have Chancellor Avidit. I'm trying to remember my own pronunciation here. Avidite here in who's present, and then the other 2 can, as I mentioned, communicate at any time should a full board vote be needed for any purpose.
You have a boardroom on the level in which you work on equipment?
Oh yes. In fact, the board by and large prefers to be very hands on. They wish to see the operations and be able to walk the floor, so to speak.
So what is he the vice president of, or
Hmm?
whatever his the
Oh no, he's the chancellor. He's a board member. He's the very top. I'm working my way up the levels. I have some degree of authority, as I hope I've communicated. But the final decisions are made, of course, by the board.
and what sort of person is he? Because we met the other gentleman.
Well, bear in mind, of course, that in an organization of this size, everyone has different responsibilities, and mine is often outreach to individuals or organizations who have not already entered into contract with us, and so I tend to be more of a people person, if you follow me. Chief Executive Strickland, whom you met briefly, tends to be more in the side of the organization where there's been some dispute. In fact, given that our current circumstances here on the island involves quite a bit of conflict, some of it what you might actually call warfare, we do need individuals of that disposition, but certainly it's not usually who I would choose to put in the room with someone that we hope to go into business with. You asked about the chancellor, though. He is, he's taciturn, severe perhaps, but he is a good leader of this organization. He worked up through the ranks as an accountant himself. He understands the business, and he keeps us afloat even in these trying times.
When you say keeps you afloat, do you mean like actual like money, like, or something
Yeah, I mean, of a sort. Certainly, currency is a part of how our business operates. When we do make a form a contract with private individuals or other businesses in the city for our protection or use of our constructs. That often the exchange is via currency. There are other magical resources, though, that can come into play. Certainly, it's often a combination of things. But it is true that since the bubble has been in place, there is in some respects, a limited supply of certain resources where there used to be much more ready access. And so making do and finding ways to stretch every last little bit of energy has been crucial to us maintaining our operation at this level under the current circumstances.
Has this organization always existed, or did it come into effect after the dome was created?
Oh no. Yes, we certainly predate the dome. We've done our best since then. But how much do you know? You saw the storybook version, right? Well, certainly the part of the story that kind of gets skipped over of when civilization on the island flourishes through the result of this magic. That is the part that we built ourselves up. We discovered the means to create these fantastic constructs, and some of them became sentient. And it is an incredible advance. It is a progress of civilization.
Are there are a lot of constructs like standing guard?
Yes.
I'm gonna gesture to one and be like, is that one sentient?
No. Certainly, it is. It is a fascinating subject that we have artificers and arcanists studying the process so we can better understand all the time how it is that any given construct achieves sentience. It's still something we don't fully understand how and when it happens. However, there is a procedure and protocol for any construct who finds themselves sentient and wishes to be recognized as such, can apply with the registry and be assigned to a duty that they might find more appealing. In the meantime, when we have constructs who have not yet developed any sentience, they are, if not given a task, they will stand and do nothing. And so they are given, guard duty or just ensuring security of the site, something that is very important to us here because, of course, you saw the state that the city is in right now. It is crucial here in case of attack that we have protection for our employees.
Question for you. You kind of rushed past something there that I'm interested in. You said that the constructs, when they become sentient, have to apply to be recognized as sentient.
It's more of a voluntary registry. It is so that we have in our records who is sentient and who is not.
Okay, I was just wondering, do those applications ever get turned down?
Well,
If
it
so,
has
at
been.
what percent?
It has been known to happen, but I would say it's a very small percentage by and large. We see, it perhaps would reassure you if I'm sensing a degree of compassion, empathy with these sentient constructs, which I share personally. And you might be reassured to know that one of our board members is in fact a sentient construct.
Have many of the ones who gained sentience, have they left and maybe gone out and joined the rebellious groups out there that
It is the nature of sentience and free will that some will choose a variety of different things. And so I won't lie to you and say that that hasn't been the case for some constructs. However, I would say by and large, the majority of them have stayed with our organization and been part of all of this because this is, after all, where they came from. It is where new constructs can be made. The rebels certainly have no capacity to execute complicated repairs or, for that matter, build new constructs which may help them to expand their population. It is a dead end of sorts for constructs over there, but here, there's a future.
Do you ever notice any spirits on the island of significant size?
Well, I think I see what you mean. My understanding is that historically, various ambient energy in the environment, and often focused by living things, would sometimes manifest as spirit entities. I assume that's what you're referring to?
Yes.
Certainly, there are spirits on the island. However, by and large, we have found that as our society progressed, those spirits who manifested themselves to us tended to diminish over time. This seems to be a natural process. There are some that exist in the wilds, but typically don't interact very much with us.
What about Marushka? Do you know that name?
Well, there is, of course, Marushka was a prominent spirit in the times before the bubble, but she vanished at the same time that the bubble was created. This is, again, part of our island's legacy that our people are cut off from as a result of this this bubble. And as you see here, there was some supposition, some concern that there was going to be some future problem, and they decided to condemn an entire island of people forever. It does not seem fair to me. shall we continue to the next level down?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, please.
All right. This level, there are some of the areas here that you are not able to go inside. You just kind of walk by and you can kind of see, like they have some windows showing like some entrance to it, but like this sort of top center area and this area here that he refers to as you pass is like these, of course, are our top secret archives where our most precious intellectual property formulas in proprietary information are kept. And of course, I hope you'll understand that that's something that we rarely divulge even to important employees, and certainly not to individuals with whom we have not yet signed any kind of contract. But it is the sort of thing that perhaps in the future, if we can come to an arrangement, maybe that is something that I would be able to show you the inside of. But in the meantime, here you can see also in the center we have a bit of a rest camp for the employees who work in the mines. Who some of them requested this area be converted into a camp so that they did not have to climb all of the stairs to get back up to the top level every time when they wanted to take a nap. So this was a converted area that they was requested by the personnel here. We also have, as you can see, some more of our arcane laboratories and workspaces, and we have a little chapel over here where they can, in fact, as you mentioned, worship the spirits. Although I can't say I'm a practitioner myself, it seems to me that Marushka has been sufficiently diminished that she cannot effectively hear prayers, but there are many who wish to offer their rites nonetheless, and so there's a place made available for them to do so. And
Are
then
there workers like in there resting or just kind of
there are two
like-
sitting in one of the front benches who seem to be kind of like sitting in meditation or something. That's
Do they
this room
look-
up here.
do they look like they're like happy or that
They
they're
look.
kind of here against their will?
Make an insight check.
This is an OSHA team
Yeah.
coming through now.
Me. They look
I
great.
mean, it's hard to tell. They've got kind of their heads down, and they're focused. They seem focused. But you're certainly seeing other workers walking around, and I think Vice President Jeffeth kind of catches your look and just says, "There are several employees I could introduce you to if you wish to learn more about their individual fields, or if you really want to stop." And grab anyone here if you feel like you are worried that I would curate the employees too strictly for you. Feel free to please don't interrupt their work if they seem busy, but we can arrange for them to take a break if necessary. But certainly anyone who you would like to talk to. And he also just gestures that this tunnel in the upper left goes to the mines that are still in operation, and he says much of the actual mining is done by our proprietary constructs. However, of course, the constructs are expensive, and they're generally precisely designed to do very specific things. So we have many humanoid workers as well that participate in the mining, and it's all one big organization that needs many different skill sets in order to function smoothly.
So, the research you do here, you're researching more containment methods for these manifestations or breaches, you said?
I'm not sure I follow specifically what you mean. I mean, the breach that we're hoping to have is the one out of the bubble that is sealing the island away from the rest of the cosmos.
You have containment methods for energy breaches
yes,
that turn
yeah,
into
yeah.
the small round orbs?
Yes, of course. That is certainly something that is part of what we do here. But that is it's less of our specialty at this facility. So it's not what our operation here is primarily designed around. We have other facilities that are more focused on that sort of apparatus. But certainly we have some small examples of such here because, of course, it sometimes happens here. But the truth is that of late we have been facing much more of a threat from the Draenor siphoners and the rebels, causing much more danger and strife compared to what has in the past been problematic spiritual manifestations of the type you're describing. In fact, we tend to not think of those things as a problem at all because when it happens, it is a new source of energy that it can be effectively and efficiently harnessed through existing technology and becomes its fuel source, as a matter of fact.
But it's dangerous when not harnessed. Is that what you mean?
Well, it certainly would be if it were left untapped, but at this point, our society has been attempting to make do on rationed energy, and as a result, certainly there is some effort put to capturing whatever energy might be available, and so it is rare that any significant manifestation of that type would be left untended.
Within the areas where you have dominion, but outside of those, do others do the same sort of thing?
By and large, yes. I mean, that technology and that magic that you are referring to is not unique to our organization. That is something that fuels much of the technology throughout the city. And although we are certainly one of the most foremost manufacturers of constructs here, that type of magic is used for all sorts of things throughout the city. Although certainly, as you imagine, the drainers, the siphoners that I mentioned, effectively their bodies have been transformed in such a way that they effectively do the same thing without the sort of apparatus that we would use otherwise. And it is unclear what happens to the energy then.
Do you only use machines, or do you have those who understand spells?
Oh, we have many mages and arcanists as part of our purview here. But this is more of an artificing facility broadly. But certainly artificing involves a careful understanding of the arcane mechanics of the harnesses, the energies we are attempting to harness.
I see.
And our master artificer is actually also on the board, Master Artificer Prestopati, and he is not here today, as I mentioned. But if necessary, we could call a board meeting, and he could participate remotely, as I explained before.
So, you mentioned, though, that there is research being done. Can you tell us the nature of that research?
Well, I mean, that's a very broad question. We are researching all sorts of things.
There are many things you cannot show us, and I understand the details are yours, but I'm just curious as to what broadly they might be, to know whether it's of interest to know more about them.
I suspect we research just about anything you can think of. Certainly everything we can think of. But the research subject of foremost interest for us today is how to get rid of that bubble that is surrounding our island.
And you have some of that research done here.
Of course. But I think you will have gleaned by our interest in working with you that we have not yet found a way to penetrate that bubble. As much as we have sought to understand it, it has been extraordinarily resistant to our attempts to penetrate it from the inside, largely, as we believe, by design. It is tapped into the Titan's magic focused by the pillar, and that magic is remarkably impervious to traditional arcana.
What can you tell us about that? More detail about the Titan and its magic.
Well, the Titan is the Titan's weapon is what we understand the pillar to be now. Certainly, in the days when Dunethere had nothing but a fishing village, it was treated as some sort of a, just mysterious artifact. We have a better understanding now. Of course, the Titans predated much of the material plane as we know them, and by and large have been dissipated or destroyed as time has progressed. But here and there are rare circumstances where there are remnants or remains of them, and we believe the pillar to be one of these. However, because it is infused with this Titan magic, which is has proven extraordinarily difficult to harness in the traditional way, because although it is quite powerful, it is extraordinarily difficult to gain a desired result from it. It tends to have extreme, unpredictable effects. I suspect even those who wound up putting the bubble around the island did not necessarily intend that that would be its exact result. And we suspect it is actually being maintained from somewhere, probably outside. But regardless, the pillar itself is extraordinarily dangerous, and so as a result, by and large, it is everyone on Dunethere's, in everyone's best interest, that we do not allow ready access to it. It is already would be quite difficult to reach just by virtue of being on the top of a mountain, but we also historically had an organization we known as the Pillarines, who control access to the pillar and maintain the security there. And they have personnel who have voluntarily undergone a process of sorts that renders them somewhat immune to the effects of the pillar, so that they do not themselves accidentally cause some tremendous unpredictable effect. However, it has been the case since the bubble went into place that the Pillarines have taken their duty, I suppose, to even a further extreme, and have largely just cut off communication with anyone outside of their own little fortress. But presumably they are still up there doing what they do, which is keeping anyone from getting to the pillar.
And it's generally believed, or perhaps decided, or maybe even measured, that the energy that has been released in the vicinity of the pillar is not the same as the manifestation energy or the other energy which suffuses this place.
Oh no, it's an entirely different source. It is extraplanar in nature, whereas the Titan magic, alien as it seems to us now, does in fact originate from the material plane.
Material plane.
Yes. That is the common understanding of the Titans. It was the Titans were on what became the material plane later, right? And so it's like as they started to fade away and other things took their place, it became the material plane.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's not like new information. That's what has always been, or at least largely understood. He says, but the Pillarines are not perfect. We did, in fact, have a rather surprising development somewhat recently when a rogue construct and its pilot managed to breach their defenses. And this produced some sort of a mixed effects. It gave us it stripped us of a number of tools that we had before for helping to guide newly sentient constructs into, productive roles. And so as a result, the process of becoming sentient is now much more chaotic and unpredictable. But then there are the many, including myself, honestly, who believe ultimately that was for the good.
It was predictable before?
Well, we had means by which we could detect a newly awakening sentience and teach it, guide it to being a productive citizen, as it were.
Speaking of detection, you have some sort of spell or item which can detect this manifestation energy?
But certainly.
Is it portable?
We have. It depends on what you mean. There are certainly portable ones, but they are in very limited range. We have larger ones that have much larger range, of course, but those tend to be large enough that we need a larger construct in order to move them around. But they're still portable in that sense. You wouldn't be able to put it in your pocket, but you could perhaps put it on a vehicle.
It would be useful to study this manifestation energy in its natural form, I suppose.
Well, this is something that we have a great deal of information about, but I suppose that if we were to start getting into that sort of nitty gritty, we would be in the position of attempting to begin negotiations, yes?
I suppose.
So, shown you our facility. I'm happy to answer more questions with the caveat, of course, that some areas are still top secret until we have reached some sort of more material arrangement. But this is something that we can now perhaps begin discussions of. So you know what we're interested in. We know that you have the means to travel, or at the very least you are understanding of what it was that allowed you to do it, and we would like to know everything there is to know about that, everything that you can tell us. So what can we offer you in exchange?
I'm not sure there's all that much, really.
What?
I would really like to see the Titan pillar. That would make me happy.
Well,
I find that very intriguing as well.
I've seen Titans before.
so please, you did hear me just explain how there is not only an organization that is religiously devoted to preventing anyone from accessing the pillar, but also that it's a long way away on the top of a mountain. Is there something that perhaps I can provide to you? Or the
Well, I
organization
mean,
here?
we've dealt with religious Titan zealots before.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we didn't really come here for things or compensation, or so it's hard to negotiate terms when there's really nothing that you have that we want.
Well, then why not think of it from the perspective of all of the people here on Dinnerthere who are suffering as a result of this bubble's presence? We had hoped that that was something that you were already in favor of helping these people. And we had hoped to offer you anything and anything you could want, but I confess that I'm frustrated here. You gave me the impression that this was something that we could perhaps come to arrangements on.
It's difficult to assess exactly what valuable information you might hold, given how vague you've been about some of it.
This
But
is the negotiation process, and as I mentioned, there are things that I'm being vague about because they are top secret, and we are not We have not survived as an organization this long by handing out all of our proprietary information to anyone who comes by. Now, you are not just anyone who has come by, naturally. However, I think what we have to have is some degree of assurance that once we have shown you our top secret information, you are not just going to attempt to flee with it and not help us.
Where would we flee to? That's silly.
Yeah, especially considering we already
Make a
have a
deception check. I mean, come on.
Anyway,
Well,
well, I
mean,
mean,
we
I'm being
literally cannot go
honest, like,
anywhere.
where would we go?
Okay,
Like,
come
we
on.
already know how to leave.
Like from where I'm standing, we can't even get out of those buildings.
Okay, but okay. I want to table talk for a minute. You guys know that's not true. You were getting ready to fight your way out like not that long ago.
I'm talking about, like, from the perspective of, okay, they give us all this valuable information that they are collecting. Okay,
All right.
this is
Well,
my
okay.
thought.
Let me.
But let me finish,
Okay,
please.
sorry.
So they give us this information and then we just take off with it. Like, in my mind, that seems bizarre because we already know how to leave and they know that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, for them to be like upset about that is odd because we already know how to leave. So what do we want with their information? That's where I'm coming from with it.
Well, okay. So my point of view is, if you try to leave without helping them, they're going to try to stop you, right? And what they are hoping is that they can offer you something that you'll like, and then you'll help them, and so on, right? Like, they're hoping that from their perspective, it's a win-win if you both help each other. Now, I know, obviously, in the meta here, that you guys don't especially want to help them. Not these specific people anyway. But at the same time, like, you have to look at it from their perspective here. Why would they give you anything if you're not offering to give them anything? You know, they have already shown you a lot of their operation in one of their main headquarters just as an act of good faith. But then you're asking for all their secrets too.
And that makes sense. I get
Mhm.
that. It's just, I think our feeling being like, what would we even do with that information
Okay.
is just, it's just the thing, and it's so
All right,
difficult
well,
because there's no room for negotiation with what they want and what,
well,
I mean, we
oh,
can't even leave.
well,
You know,
okay.
like they won't let us leave. So
All right. Well,
I think
let
it
me
was
put
more
it this
just like
way.
sarcastic.
Let me put it this way. What has happened here is that you have effectively been arrested, but complied with their requests at every turn and have not made any effort to resist at any point. You can do that at any time. And so right now, they are hoping that you will make a deal with them. If you don't want to make a deal with them, you don't have to humor them forever. They're not going to say, oh, well, this is basically, as long as you are kind of going along with it, they're willing to kind of maybe string things out and keep things on the friendly side. But I mean, tell me, are you feeling frustrated as players? I mean, you all walked yourself into this situation. I didn't railroad you into this. You guys volunteered.
There were a lot of threats, some implied and some very direct. So,
Well, guess what? This is a game where you fight stuff.
no, I'm not saying that, but that's one of the reasons why, rather than destroy everybody, because we
Yeah.
don't like to just destroy people,
Sure.
if we don't have to.
Well, you wanted to
Um,
know more. You know more.
mhm.
I'm.
But
Tell
in
me how I
in
can help you guys here.
in the case of Vertigo's complaint, he did just basically say we do a bunch of research here,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't actually list any topics or any specialties or anything like that. So
Well,
that was where
okay.
that pushback came from.
Well,
I mean,
well,
and I
he
think, like,
offered to let you talk to any of their specialists, and you didn't ask to.
Well, I don't know what their specialists are.
Okay. Well, you did.
Every time he's asked about something,
okay.
it's like, well, yeah, we do that,
You
but we
guys
can't tell
ask
you
me
anything.
vague questions, and I give you vague answers, and then you complain that I didn't give you detailed answer to your vague questions. I look. I'm trying to have the world respond to what you all are doing. If you
I know,
if
So,
you
and I
want to
so,
just-
say
I'm
so
not-
any of
Vertigo
these,
asked
Okay.
about the containment, asked about the detection, asked,
Yeah.
and he said, yeah, we have something. And
Yeah,
that was
well-
all he said. Not that they're researching it, not that they have
yes,
anybody
because
here that
what
he
they
can talk
have
to
are
about it.
okay.
I thought I was asking you about specific research, and it
Well,
just came
but
back
at
as
the same time, you know what he has already said, which is you have offered them enough to get the general tour. And what he wants is for you to make a more binding agreement to actually help in exchange for the more top secret information. This
but
has
he
all
also
been
said
said
I could
already.
talk to people. And
Yes,
now
and you
he's
have
saying I
not
can't talk
asked
to
to
people.
talk. No, I'm not. I've never said you can't talk to people. You have not asked to talk to anybody. If, for example, when I said, yes, we have something, and I gave you the detail that, for example, there are small ones with a short range that you could carry around, but you have big ones that go on a big construct, and then you could have said, can I talk to someone who makes those? Yes, I would have said, yes, here's Arcanist, what's his name? I have NPCs built for this. I can only respond to the prompts you guys actually give me. I feel like there's some actual tension here, and I want to try to work through this on the table talk level, because I am responding to what you guys are doing. But I feel like you feel like I'm railroading you when all I'm doing is responding to the prompts you give me.
I mean, in part, we're trying to be nice and not just kill everybody, which has occurred, to think,
Well,
to all of us at one point or another.
Okay,
But-
so that's up to you.
But we're kind of hoping there's a better way.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
well, you know what? Like,
I think that's what it comes down to, is that there's still this hope that there's room for negotiation,
Mhm.
and it doesn't feel like there is. Like, even mentioning, like, I would really like to see this thing. Well, it's in the mountains, it's impossible. It just feels
far
like,
away and heavily guarded by people that this organization doesn't control.
That was a little bit of asking for the moon.
well, yeah, but it's just little things like that. That it's there.
Well, okay. Let me
there's
be
just no
very
room for
let me be very
negotiation.
clear. If this has not been communicated already, you have met and volunteered to come to the main headquarters of one of the evil factions of the island. They're not nice. Just because the guy who's talking to you is smiling does not mean these are good people. They're not going to just give you everything you want in exchange for nothing.
Are we still on the lower level or have we moved back up?
I mean, I think you were on the lower level unless you wanted to be somewhere else.
I
Well-
think we need to head back up.
So
Yeah.
let me be 100% clear. Well, let's imagine this was a group insight check where you all realize they're doing their best to put a nice face on this, and they would really like to be able to pay you money in exchange for how to get through the bubble. But if you are not willing to make that kind of deal, they will resort to other tactics, and that is getting close because you guys are not being cooperative. That is the situation you're in. Maybe this guy, Vice President Jeffeths, is a good guy and he means well and he's just brainwashed by the organization, but that does not change the fundamental situation that you're in, where you will not be allowed to leave unless you fight your way out. And they're getting close. Not so much Jeffeths, but the people who are monitoring all of this are getting very close to saying, clap them in irons and we will find ways to make them talk.
I think the ambiguity also happens because while we've seen Strickland and we kind of
Yeah.
have a clear opinion of him, we
Mhm.
have Jeffeths, who's
Mhm.
a very
Yeah.
different perspective,
Yeah.
but everybody else seems to be going along just fine. Like,
Yeah.
to say it's an evil organization
Yeah.
isn't quite registering in that
Well,
sense.
Okay.
Only that the leaders are evil, which is,
All right. Well, I'm trying to answer the questions that you guys are asking. If you wanted to ask, for example, all of these workers, what did they get out of this? And it would be, and I would answer those questions. But what I would say is, If you want to know answers to something, bear in mind that I have created this character who is trying to give you the PR version of all of these answers because they're trying to make a deal with you, right? Like it's so please tell me how I can fix what seems to be a bottleneck in our continued adventure here.
So, do they have a lot of stuff built here?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to switch out of the meta because this
Okay.
is. If I take a deep breath, please.
All right. I mean, I'm trying to react to what felt to me
It's-
like you guys
I
being
get it.
frustrated.
Um. So. Um. So, I'm a bit different from my friends here, and you seem to have a lot of like stuff for like the different workers and stuff. Do you guys have like a pub, an inn,
Yes,
something?
yes. As a matter of fact, we do. There's sort of an informal one down here on this level, but by and large, we have a very nice recreational facilities up on the surface level. That is where we have our employees are free to rest and relax when they're off duty.
See, I'm a bard, so that's kind of like that's my happy place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, would it be too inconvenient to, I don't know, go see it and just see some of the people that work here?
Certainly. I mean, we have many people on any of these levels. If anyone is doing something you would like to know more about, let me know. We can talk to them.
I don't want to
Okay.
interrupt anyone doing their
All right.
work.
I would.
Okay, so, well,
No. Damn it.
But if you think this is more important, Lynn,
I'm trying to help y'all, okay?
Sorry.
she trying to lead you all back up to
Okay.
the surface level so you can maybe
Yes.
get away? Yeah? Uh-huh.
Also, I would really just like a pub. At this point, I need a drink.
Okay. Yeah. So let me also just say in the meta, I have lots of answers for things, but I don't have technical manuals for every little bit of wizardry they have, right? I mean, that is something we could work on if it's something you would develop, but it's also not something that this non-technical employee would be able to just rattle off with you at length at any moment, especially when you're not cleared for top secret information, right? So I'm not trying to give you vague answers. I'm trying to give you the answers that this guy could give you. And if you want more information, you have to offer them something for it. Or you could talk to any of the employees. Like if I mentioned that you've got artificers, you've got accountants, you've got mine workers, you've got bookkeepers. I made a bunch of NPCs for this purpose. So, we could go up and visit the. I mean, on the surface level, it's rather mundane in its construction and all. But if you wish to see it, we could certainly. I mean, I think we have a much nicer sort of executive room if you're just looking for a drink and some
I'm-
comfort.
Yeah, I'm just more interested in the people and what they do to relax and what songs do they sing. I'm always about collecting new songs. Yeah, I would, and like I said, I don't want to disturb anybody who's doing their work. Hush, Vertigo. So yeah, just get the everyman perspective on.
Sure. Well, so we could do that. Certainly, though, as I mentioned, if it makes the difference in this arrangement, I will confide in you that we have other members of our organization who are still a bit frustrated that you are not you're dissembling and not being as willing to commit to some kind of an arrangement and saying that there's nothing that we can offer you.
Well, would it help if I offered one little nugget in exchange for all of this tour that we've been given? Because you said that you'd it was supposed that this whole the bubble around this place was probably being powered from the outside, and I would like to confirm that for you.
Ah, well, good. Yes, this is the sort of information that we are interested in. And so, on that basis, I'll allow you to make a persuasion check with advantage to say that it's okay to take you to the surface level pub.
It's something I'm good at. 19.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's like, well, I suppose I suppose we could arrange that certainly. So I'll
Only rolled that once. Go ahead. Sorry.
okay. Well, you can
It's
roll
fine.
again if
It's
you think you
fine.
might get higher. That's allowed.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Dang it. Ignore that one. Persuasion.
Okay. Well, the first
There
one
we
was
go.
higher,
Yeah.
but yeah. So
Yeah,
19.
either way.
Yeah. So I think that is something that can be arranged, and I think that he is bringing you back up, and I think you do notice though that there, as you are making your way back up the stairs in the various levels, I think you are a little bit more aware that these constructs that are have been sort of kind of patrolling or just guarding various areas seem to be located a little closer to the stairs where you're going up, and are certainly looking in your direction as you pass your way up there, and so as you emerge from the stairs, you're coming up right here on this level, and he's guiding you. It's like, well, so you, I think we have a couple of different facilities, but if you're looking specifically to talk with some of our workers, we could send you in just right here, and have you all just kind of, you can head in there if you want. And then I think you're kind of aware of clunk, 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 and these you know these constructs are flanking you as you do.
These constructs,
Mhm.
I keep picturing sequential, and I'm pretty sure
Oh.
that's not.
Oh
quite the
no,
right
yeah.
picture.
So these ones that I'm describing here, as you can see on the map, are certainly large creatures. They're like 10 feet tall and pretty bulky. They look like, and they have like weird chisel hands. And then you have
Okay.
also seen some that are more medium or like humanoid in size, but still very much more of metal construction than sequential was. And it's clear. So like these seem to your eye to be considerably more advanced in some respects than sequential, but it's really almost more like the technology trees diverged at some point, and it's almost more of a coincidence that they share the superficial details of basic humanoid shape and existing as a construct. But sequential was not designed by someone from Dinuther. It was designed by someone from outside looking through materials from Dinuther, right? But yes, I want to communicate that these things are certainly monitoring you closely and look tough.
Right. So you said there's like a bunch of workers and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you're kind of in this room. You see, there's a few workers sitting around a table drinking what appears to be ales out of mugs, and they look up at you curiously. And certainly, I think Jeffus is in there with you. I just don't have a separate token to indicate him, but he's there with you, and he just says, "Feel free. These men are off duty. There's no work that can be interrupted unless, of course, you consider the hard work of relaxing after a day's efforts."
How do the workers look? Like, what is their general demeanor?
They look. So okay, you're asking a couple of different things. Go ahead and make an insight check if you're wanting to know just kind of their emotional demeanor, And then perception check would be if you want to like their physical state.
28.
All right. Certainly their dominant emotion right now is curiosity, interest in all of you as newcomers, but also maybe a little bit of why are there weird newcomers here? What is going on? This is maybe a little bit like evidence that something bad is maybe going to happen. They're interested, but also like you get the sense that they have very much no news is good news sorts of attitudes most of the time. And so strange new people showing up suddenly is, there might be lots of reasons for it, but most of them would be bad. So they're curious, but also a little bit wary.
So in general, then the atmosphere is very like subdued, kind of, not like
It looks like they were having a fine time relaxing until you all came in. You do
Okay.
get the sense that, so what they don't look like to you is chained up slaves.
Mhm.
But they do look like people who worked hard and now are worried that something strange is happening.
How
But
do they look physically?
Go ahead and make a perception check for that. Or medicine, for that matter. If someone wants to roll medicine. Okay, well, that's a 13.
You can roll medicine.
Sure, you can roll medicine if you want.
25.
Oh, there you go. So I think with a 25, you see that they look reasonably healthy. Like they don't look actively sick or anything. But that said, you see some of the signs of like someone who is like maybe a miner and does hard manual work with their hands, the sort of calluses and everything. But you also see that they tend to be kind of a little scrawny, a little wiry for that, and you get the sense that there is just the best way that I can put it is it looks like someone who's just donated blood. Someone who worked hard all day and they donated blood, so they're maybe just a little bit pale. They're maybe just a little bit like if they stood up, maybe they too fast, they might get a little dizzy. They don't look like they're about to die, but they do look like they have been at least some way subtly drained.
I think this party needs a little bit of cheering up.
I mean, they're kind of looking at you like, what does that mean?
Well, the bubble being what it is, I think maybe this place has missed out on some of the more modern songs from the mainland. So in the meta here,
They're definitely whispering amongst themselves now. Mainland, what is she talking about? Yeah.
in the meta here,
Mhm.
what I am about to do is launch into a performance of Song of the Paladin
All
because
right.
it's fun
Nice.
and kind of hoping that my friends will take a cue.
Okay.
Yeah. Dude, just all these dour faces. We need to cheer up and have a good time. You're off work, relax.
All right.
And
Let me reiterate. You rolled a 28. They did not look dour. They looked like they were having a normal night out and then something really strange has happened and they're worried that's bad. But that said, they do look like they would enjoy a song. So,
Well, that I can
Yeah.
do.
yeah. there
Not
you go.
much use with the other stuff, but this
right.
this I got.
All right. Well, go ahead and
Uh,
launch into a performance check for me.
Alrighty. These are alphabetical, like they shouldn't be hard to find. 23.
That's pretty good. I think that as soon as you actually start playing, they're like, Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, they're into this. Yeah, and they're having a great time, and so they're definitely watching you. And I think even Vice President Jeffeth finds himself sort of like, despite himself, he's like, "Wow. Okay. Ah, this is really good." And I think the sound is carrying, and I think if we assume a minute or two, you start getting other people like trickling in from outside to join. People are
Are,
coming to hear what's going on.
is this a window over here looking out? I mean, like, this is an
Um,
external wall.
yeah, yeah. You can see over a wall, and it's sheer. It's a sheer drop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
This whole thing, you didn't get a whole that much of a look at it as you came through, but you do remember that the carriage you were in seemed to rotate as it climbed something vertical up
right.
rather significant height.
All right. Well, I can fly, and Vertigo can fly and do feather fall. Um,
All right. Well, lots of people are coming to listen while Carolina is performing.
okay.
I believe I
Um,
also have fly with the mandolin. Just making sure.
all right. I'm gonna try and wave Zaleen and Vertigo over toward me.
All
And
right.
kinda,
How? So I think I need a check at this point because
yeah.
they're not stupid. The reason that you're getting more attention from these guards and so on when you came up there is they are aware that there is a potential risk of bringing you to the surface level, right? So I think if you're trying to surreptitiously look out the window like you might be about to jump out the window, you standing there with wings,
Yeah.
um, tell me if you are trying to, like, I think I might need a roll to not be obvious of what you're trying to do.
Okay.
Tell me what you are doing to try to make it not obvious that you're about to jump out the window.
Uh, I will turn my back to the window and pay attention to Carolina playing.
So, Carolina, where in this room would you have gotten up onto like because there is kind of an elevated little like stage and table there? Would you be up on that, or
Oh yeah,
you're
for
kind of in the
sure.
corner by the door? So,
And well, not exclusively on the stage.
mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
think initially I would have jumped up there
Mm-hmm.
because love an
Okay.
audience.
Well, you guys can
But
move your tokens around. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, so I
Mm-hmm.
think after a while, like I would definitely start like going around the room and
All right. Well,
just
so that's in a different room. You can kind of see where
oh,
the
is it?
walls
Oh,
are, right? Yeah. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
just kind of all over the place,
Okay.
just making sure everybody's having fun.
All right. So I guess what I was asking for, Zinhorn, is if you're just trying to take advantage of everyone else's attention and roll stealth, we can do that. If you're trying to make it look like you're doing something else, we might do deception. But I need to know what's the general attempt here.
I was trying to get Nedry and Zaleen to come over toward me so that they weren't on the other side of all those guards when I went out the window.
Okay. So how are you trying to do that? I mean, most
Uh,
everyone's paying attention to Carolina, but there are, they are also in the room. So you tell me what you're doing.
yep. I don't have a plan. Um, nothing I have is gonna work. I guess I could just go out the window and hope that they follow.
Dude, smoke the pipe! Oh my god,
What?
killing me.
I'm sorry. All right, I'm just gonna go out the window.
Okay. So are you going to try to do that without anybody noticing, or you go ahead and just you don't care if people notice?
Well, I kind of want people to notice because I want Zaleen and
Well, let me
Nedry
put
and
it this way:
Carolina to
it is
notice.
easy to have people notice. It would be hard to not have them notice. So if you don't care about people noticing, then that's fine, and we're gonna roll initiative.
All right, let's roll initiative.
Okay, so you jump out the window, and that's the first thing you do. I assume you are. So, what is your immediate action upon going out the window? Are you letting yourself sort of fall out of sight, or
No. I kind of want to stay around at this height at the moment to make sure my friends make it out. They might need help getting out,
okay?
and I don't want to leave them behind.
All right. Wow. Okay. These turn trackers, I swear. Okay. I'm starting the turn tracker completely over because it'll have no one on it until I add someone, and then it adds 5 other things. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So everyone should be on there. Please do go ahead and roll. And adjust the turn tracker as needed. Where are these? Where's my notes here? Oh, for Pete's sake. All right. I have a PDF that's giving me difficulty at the moment. And my notes of what page I needed are not where I needed them. Okay. All right, so let's see. These guys have a neutral. And then these guys have also neutral. Okay, so that means 14. And then that'll be for the passerby here. All right, so what is your dex, Zinhorn?
Not great. My dex is 10, which gives me +0.
Okay, well, I need you to roll a d20 for me. Okay, that means you're going to go first between these two. Okay, so that means that we've got all of this in order. So, okay, the song is happening, but then all of a sudden there's a big crash as Zinhorn jumps backwards outside the window and takes flight in the air out there. And that is when initiative begins. Vertigo, you are up first. Nobody else has had time to do anything, but you're up first.
I don't know if I'm up first or Carolina. I don't know what her dex is.
Oh,
but
So what's your dex, Carolina?
probably more.
I have a +3.
Okay, so is that more than yours, Vertigo?
Yeah, I have 2. Plus
Okay.
2.
All right.
But
Well, then
it looks like you rolled a natural 20, though.
well, it
Yeah, it
doesn't matter. It's still so you're up first then, Carolina.
Well, that was not what I thought was going to happen. And I have no plan now.
Well, something's about to happen. I mean, you can keep singing if you want.
Yeah,
mean-
I'm just going to do that because you
All
know
right.
what? He just jumped out the window. Okay.
All right, make another performance check at disadvantage because it was interrupted. Okay.
25.
25. Well, was that at disadvantage?
Nope.
mean,
Just roll another one.
Still have pretty good bonus. So
23.
like that's still 23. So I think that with a 23, you have a fair amount of people who are enjoying the song so much that they genuinely feel conflicted about what's happening. Like, that seems crazy, but also the song is so entertaining that they're kind of like all of the people who are watching are kind of not panicking in the way that they might otherwise, because you are sort of compelling them just through sheer entertainment. They're kind of hoping that it's going to turn out that they don't have to panic because they don't want to stop listening to the song. All right. So that would make it you're up, Vertigo. Carolina is still playing the song.
Yeah, we're just sort of tossing the hot potato until somebody does something. Because this is quite surprising. I think that Vertigo will make his way over to the window to see how Zinhorn got thrown out the window, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody is in his way, but he's a tiny little guy.
Well,
so.
you have the initiative, so like it is. I don't think. I think Vice President Jeffeths does make an attempt to grapple you. He is not especially strong himself, though. So make an athletics or acrobatics
Okay.
to evade the grapple.
Haven't done one of those in a while.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So yeah. Even though he is just kind of sort of a relatively scrawny guy, I incidentally I'll put a dot on this guy just to indicate that's the token I'm using for him. He says, "No, wait," and he grabs you like by the collar.
I'm utterly flabbergasted. I think Vertigo shares that. I just want to go see what happened to my friend.
Well,
And there's no lie there because he just does not know what happened.
Okay, but see, here's the thing. He was on guard for you guys to try something, and he's pretty sure that's what happened. So if you want to, you can make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
I mean, I can try.
I will let you roll.
Again, kind of caught a little flat-footed, but
All right.
there's a 5
Yeah.
again.
I think he looks down at you and he says, "I really hoped we could do this the nice way." Do you
So did
have
I.
anything else you want to do? I think your action was trying to persuade him.
No, he just kind of looks up and shrugs sadly.
I kind of hope that something better would happen. Still do.
All right. Well, Zinhorn, you're out the window. Now what? We don't hear you.
I'm going to cast hold person on Jeffers.
All right. That's a wisdom save, I believe, right?
Yep.
Okay. He got a 15, which I suspect is not enough.
That is not enough. He needs an 18.
All right. Yeah. So he had grappled Vertigo, but suddenly just freezes up, paralyzed. And I think at this point, if it was your turn, you would not have to break the grapple while he's paralyzed. Vertigo. All right. So, anything else?
I'm gonna yell out, "Come on, guys!"
All right. Okay. So, no one has officially given the guard constructs a command yet to, to intervene. So that is, they at present they have not been given any orders. They're not doing anything. It is now the uh, the turn of the populace. Most of them who were listening to the song are looking around, kind of confused, like they hope whatever it is that's happening is not going to interfere with the performance, but they're kind of confused and but not otherwise taking any new actions. But I believe at the end of his turn, Jeffeth can try again with the wisdom save.
Yeah, and the target is 16.
Okay.
A success.
You
At
got a
the
15
end
again. So,
of each of its turns, the target can make another wisdom
all
save.
right. Yeah, so he got another 15 and so he failed. And so he looks Vertigo, you're the one that's right there by him and you can see just like micro expressions on his face that he's trying to make through the paralysis. Is giving you the indication that he is really wishing he was able to give some sort of a command right now, but he can't because he is paralyzed. And all of the other workers are increasingly like, wait, is something bad happening? We might need to get out of here. Zaleen, it is your turn.
I'm just gonna go over and dance behind Carolina because I have no idea what's even happening right now. So, I mean, I was probably far enough away that I didn't see what was going on.
All right. Okay. I mean, I think you noticed Zinhorn crashing out the window. You also know he can fly, but yeah. So
It just
do
feels
as you like. Do you know?
yeah.
It is your
I don't
character
want
to
to
take
be
actions
away
for.
from Carolina,
Okay, so
so
you
I'm
move over to
gonna
her, and that's
stand
fine.
by her.
Okay,
Yep,
go ahead
that's
and move
it.
your token. You can move your token, right? All right. Okay. No held action or anything.
If anybody like tries to grab me, I'll Eldritch Blast them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like physically grab me.
Okay. Well, Carolina, that brings it back to you.
How far away is Zinhorn?
I mean, you're looking at the map, right? But you also
Well,
don't have
but
line
he
of sight
didn't-
on him because he's out the window.
Yeah, that's like my thing. I'm trying to figure out.
You would have to move in front of the window to be able to see him.
Okay.
Everyone was waiting for someone to make the move, and now everyone is trying to pretend that the move didn't get made.
Yeah, I mean, Vertigo can reach out and touch my mind and ask me what I did. And
Yeah,
what
well,
happened.
You
so
I was
also,
trying to
on
go
your
over to
turn,
you.
could have yelled to them to do something.
I
yeah.
just did yell at them.
All right, yeah. So,
I am going to go over to the window
all right.
and I'm going to tell him using message, pipe now.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to pull out the
Well,
pipe.
it's not your
That's not
turn
my
yet,
turn.
but you guys, you can move your tokens. See, we're on the map. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Okay, that would be your turn, Vertigo. You are no longer grappled by the paralyzed hand of Vice President Jeffeth.
And Vertigo will move over by the window and kind of in turn to each of them. Well, Lynn and Zaleen, telepathically just say, "I think we have to go now," and kind of wait for them by the window. And I will hold a fly spell for when they're within range, which is touch. So
Okay.
I hope they do it because I lose the spell slot either way, and it's fifth level spell slot. So
Okay. So you're holding that action, Zinhorn. You're up.
I am going to land back in the room, pull out the pipe, and blow smoke at Jeffers.
Okay. Well, I think you would to blow it directly on him specifically. You would need to be adjacent to him, which I'm not saying you couldn't do, but you would need to do that, and he's on the other side of the room.
All right, then I'm gonna blow smoke at the guy right just
Mm.
up and to the right from me.
You know what? So I just wanted you to be in the place that you would be, because
Oh.
it turns out that as soon as you use the pipe, and you are blowing out the smoke, it is very unlike the times that you have previously used the pipe. Um, at first, it feels as though you are involuntarily using your dragon breath. But very quickly, you realize that it is no longer being driven by pressure coming out of you. You know, you are not blowing any more volume of smoke than usual. But what is happening is that the smoke, as it's hitting the air, is starting to expand beyond what you have ever seen before. It is as though every inch it gains into the air here, it is doubling itself. And as it starts to get bigger and bigger, starting to fill half of the room, everyone can make a perception check as this is happening. All right. Those are some low perception rolls from this often very perceptive group. Okay, so with a natural 20, though, from Zaylene, you're the only one that sees this aspect of it. Everyone sees the smoke look like somehow it's as though Zinhorn from this pipe is filling the entire room with smoke in the matter of seconds. But what you see is as the smoke is expanding, it almost looks like it's hands, shadowy hands reaching out from it and pulling the cloud forward. Hundreds of little ones. And it's increasingly just expanding and filling. And certainly that is what's happening now. I would say even just within your turn, the smoke has filled half the room here. Here, let's make a little... Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Wanted to draw a little circle. But yes, you have started a process. All right, great. And is that the end of your turn as you realize that this is now outside of your control, this smoke? If you have anything else you want to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab Carolina and go back out the window.
Okay. All right. I assume you are cooperative with that, Carolina?
Sure.
All right.
Which I know Zaylene will follow wherever Carolina goes.
Although at this point, Zaylene, that means that you will have to enter this cloud of smoke that you see clawing itself into existence. All right. That was your turn. It is the construct's turn, and they still have not been given any command, but this chief one starts to see smoke coming out, and it is approaching the door to check this out. And so it reaches here, but it is, and it opens the door, but nothing else. It hasn't given any other command yet. It's just inspecting the oddity. All right, and it is the people's turn, and everyone who is in this existing cloud of smoke just instantly faints, just limp, thump, onto the ground. The one guy here, seeing that, screams and runs and jumps through the door here, and he's running out this way, leaving those doors open behind him. And now it's your turn, Zaylene.
I would like to look for a path that I could kind of skirt around it or maybe under it. Having seen all those people fall, is that something I can attempt to do?
I don't think there's space where you could it's expanding so fast that there's not really a way to get in that area without being exposed to it, if that's what you're trying to avoid. I mean, Nedry is also, or Vertigo is also in the smoke right now. But he did not collapse the way the others did.
Okay, I'm gonna hold my breath
Hmm.
and run through the smoke to get to where Vertigo is.
Okay. You're effectively blinded while you do, but also you know what the room was like just a moment ago. So, all right. So, and as soon as you are next to Vertigo, you can cast your held fly spell.
Yep. Didn't quite catch Lynn on the way out the window, but managed to grab Zaleen by the arm, and you feel the magical pulse.
All right.
And
And
you
so
can-
Zaleen still has movement speed that she could use to go ahead and go all the way out the window.
Okay,
And,
I will do that.
All right. Okay. So let's see. We got fly on Vertigo and Zaleen. Okay. Oh, I should have had Jeffeths go ahead and try to break the hold person again. He got an 11, so yeah, he's not having a good time there. Okay, that was Zaleen's turn. Carolina, you are currently held aloft in the arms of Zinhorn, whom I'm sure you certainly, he is well strong enough to hold you up, but you are also now looking down hundreds and hundreds of feet to a snowy crevasse far below
Yes,
you.
so at this point, I'm going to cast Fly on myself using the mandolin
All right.
and promptly squirm out of his hold.
Okay. I just realized I didn't use the right symbol for Nedry's fly. Okay. All right.
Do we have everybody?
Well, I mean,
Like-
sort of.
Let's see. Zinhorn, me, Zaleen.
I
Where's
mean,
Nedry?
Vertigo
Or
is still
Vertigo.
inside, but has
Yep.
Yeah.
cast the fly spell.
Right. We need to get clear of, like, I don't know if they have any like flying constructs to like, we've seen them, so we know
Mhm.
they exist.
Yep.
So being out in the open seems like a really bad idea. So I guess I want to look for where the heck we need to head to kind of
Mhm.
get out of sight or
Sure.
something.
Well, let me just briefly show you once again. You know what? I think what you see, at least in the immediate vicinity, like what you could literally just see with your eyes from right here, is hills and mountains. There's not really any other, buildings or anything around here. But like, I
Well, there
mean,
might
you
be
could
a
look
cave or
for
something nearby.
Well,
so,
sure, but I'm just saying, like, you could look for one, but you don't just see one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all right, you are readying for Vertigo to join you in trying to fly away. All
Yep.
right. Okay, Vertigo, you're up. You see this smoke expanding in this way, and it has already, everyone who is in it but you seems to have gone immediately unconscious.
Did Jeffeths go unconscious?
Oh yeah,
Oh, he did. Okay.
yeah,
So-
absolutely.
okay. Vertigo will
And
kind
you
of
you haven't gotten a close look. All you know is that they collapsed. You can't really see them very well because you're in a cloud of smoke.
okay. Yeah, I don't want to ruin the party too much, but Vertigo will kind of hover by the window and observe because this is definitely what he wants to see.
Sure.
This is the research he's kind of going for. So it's all about just trying to interpret what happened
Okay.
and
You
then
are
kind of predict as well, like based on the rate it's moving, or if it's doing any physical damage to things, or if there anything that he can see.
so you are going outside in.
Yeah, he's
or-
gonna move out the window and then hover by the window,
Okay.
or kind of perch on the window, I guess.
All right. Well, so because it was started on Zinhorn's initiative, that's when I'm having the smoke expand. The smoke on this round um, expands quite a bit. It does not. It does not follow you out into the out the window. It seems to be following, like, the area here, right? So it is not expanding, concentrically from the center point. It's following where people are.
One question,
Mhm.
because he'd been engulfed by the smoke but did not fall unconscious like the others did.
Yeah.
Was there any sensation or feeling or interaction with the smoke at all? Did he feel
Um,
anything from that?
no, I like for you, it was like regular tobacco smoke.
Okay.
Like not necessarily that exact smell, but it just felt like mundane. It felt and breathed like mundane smoke to you.
Hmm. Okay.
But you see that it is expanding very rapidly, and in fact, since you are, you're all. I think what I want to just describe here, and you can maybe try to make checks on your turn to observe this in more detail. But I guess what I'm just trying to communicate is it is not in any way behaving like what mundane smoke does, right? Not only does it not have any obvious source or fire for that matter anymore, but it is moving in and expanding in ways that seem entirely separate from the movement of the air in the area. And so, to get a better understanding of what it's doing, you would need to know more. Also, I've not described what is happening to the constructs that it's now engulfing, because I think you're on the other side of the building right now, and you would have to like fly up to like look at
Well,
them.
Vertigo is looking through the window intently at all of this stuff.
Well, I know, but I'm saying they are on the other side of the building.
Oh, yeah,
There's a
yeah.
building in between you guys.
Yeah.
And you and the construct. So I'm saying that, like, unless you tell me you're going up higher to look at them, like that. So it is your turn now, Zinhorn.
My turn?
Yeah. This happens on your turn.
Okay. I yell out to the rest of my party. I think we need to go as far away from here as fast as we can. And I'm gonna start heading down and I guess south, but away from the smoke and away from those big ass ballistas,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a big shiny target.
All right. So you just take off, huh?
At this point,
All
yeah.
right. Okay. Everyone else can fly faster than you because they have the magic spell, and you're just using your regular old wings. But
Yep.
that's fine. Do you dash away?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that is Zinhorn's turn. You don't know what the constructs are doing. You can't see them. Everyone of the of these non-constructs who has been enveloped by the smoke. You know, you don't really see what's happening to them either. And then Zaylene, that would be you next.
I'm a dash fly away.
All right. You can easily keep up with Zinhorn. Do you pass him, or do
Oh,
you
yeah.
just catch up? All right.
I pass. Zoom. 120 feet.
All right. Okay. So, Carolina.
I'm going to grab Vertigo by the collar, drag him off in that direction.
Wait, I've got to see what happens.
Some things you don't need to know. Let's get out of here.
I will never say that.
And I mean, being pushed away, but still looking back in
So
that
I
direction.
think if you are actively resisting, then we could do a whole grapple thing. But if you want to kind of just make a show of it and allow yourself to be dragged away, that's fine too.
I mean, Vertigo trusts Lynn to make the better decisions most of the time, which is not really saying anything great.
Okay.
But we'll be still looking back in that direction, but moving along with them.
Okay, so make a perception check as you are looking back as you are dragged away.
Yeah, that's on par. 6.
Okay. Unfortunately, as she is pulling you away, your goggles slip. So you're trying to get them readjusted so that you can actually see better. But by the time you get them back into place, you're far enough away. It's hard to make out detail. So as you are all zooming away, you do notice that the smoke seems to expand to the point where it has entirely covered the whole top surface layer of this place. And you can see that it's still like roiling around like there's activity, but you really can't see anything else. However, like how far away do you get before you even like turn and look back? Or I guess Vertigo is looking back already. That's fair, right? I think you see that a couple of small somethings, small moving somethings do seem to break out from like lower levels of the side of this sort of land formation, and seem to be in pursuit, flying creatures or constructs of some kind. But they're still a ways back. I'll say that by the time you see them starting to pursue you, you're all like 300 feet away.
I think we're being followed. I don't know if it's something else or if it's something from something. All I know is it's something.
Yeah. It looks like there's 4 of whatever it is, whatever they are. They are.
All I
I
can
will,
think
like-
of is the Wizard of Oz and the flying monkeys.
So here's the irony. As you are continuing to just try to outrun these things, it quickly becomes clear to you that they can fly as fast as those of you with the fly spell, which means faster than Zinhorn can currently fly.
It was nice knowing you guys.
If they get within 120 feet, I'm going to
Mhm.
fire off Eldritch Blasts.
Okay. I mean, so are you
120 feet of me.
Sure.
'Cause
Well, so I
Zinhorn's
guess what I was
behind
just going to
us.
say is like, if it, tell me what you're doing. I'm going to just sort of blanket assume that you all get about 300 feet away at first, and let's assume that for a moment you made sure that you're all together, but you see that these things have started following and they're coming at you fast. They will catch up if you are all flying together as fast as Zinhorn can.
Yeah, we can take them.
Maybe we should find a place to land.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, we only got like 6 more minutes of this flying.
Is there anything below? Like, what's the
I
landscape?
mean,
we're
yeah,
flying
it's so
over?
well. So here, let me since we're moving away from the facility here, let me put us back on the regional map. So I need a better token than this owl, just because it's gonna bug me.
And
Okay,
more
there we go.
screen real estate.
So this little symbol, you are emerging from, this fortress right here is the symbol that I'm using for where you were.
You didn't move us.
Okay. How do I do that?
Grab the little bookmark on the.
Well, no,
map?
that's what
Oh.
I usually. Okay, well, it's what I usually do, but there we go. Okay, but Roll20 has folders now, and because some of the maps were in folders and others weren't, I didn't know how to grab it from inside the folder. But in any
Gotcha.
case, here you are, and so what you're seeing basically is like tall, sort of like rocky hills that there's some snow like at the tops of them, but mostly not. But you're flying away from this fortress here. In the time that you, like, if you flew straight out for the full 10 minutes, you would only get like 1 square away. That's the scale we're working with here.
Okay.
But so it's just basically rocky hills. You can kind of tell me what sort of, you know,
Do we have enough time to land?
sure. I mean, you're not going to fall out of the sky if you go ahead and just fly towards the ground.
I think that's what we were planning because
Mhm.
I think we already know we're not going to get very far
Sure.
with 10 minutes. So I think we would look for a place to land.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, it is easy enough to fly towards the ground and then land wherever that happens to be. If you want to kind of be trying to look around for something specific, you can do that, but it will sort of slow you down.
And the terrain beneath us, you said, is hills and mountains and
Yeah.
trees, or
Rocky hills. There's
Rocky
not a
hills.
lot of trees here. Yeah. I mean, if you land there, you're going to be exposed on a rocky hillside. I mean, there might be caves, but there isn't going to just be a convenient one that just happens to be right below you.
Well, I say we land and make a stand because it's only 4, right?
Yep.
It's for whatever it is. Yeah.
4v4.
All right. Well, so let's see. I don't have a map prepared for this, but let's see what we got. Here, this will work. Oh, can I? Let me move this. I'm going to use this map. And it's like grassy here, but I'm going to say imagine that the apparent trees on it are like boulders instead. Just because I didn't have a map prepared for if you jumped out the window. Which is not a problem. It's just that's why I don't have a map prepared. Okay, let's see. Whoops. Not on the map layer. All right. Tokens. Okay. Zinhorn. What? What?
Zaleen was huge.
I know. It's because okay, I'm doing a thing because I'm creating a new map for you guys on the fly. Just give me a second.
All right.
All right.
Wait,
and-
I was a giant and I missed it because I
No.
was looking at pigs.
Well, you weren't a giant. You were on the wrong layer for a moment.
you were just falling and you were closer to the camera. So
Okay, so tell me. So you land and you see these things coming up at you. They're going to catch up with you and be within 120 feet in one round. So what do you do in preparation?
do we have any better idea what they might be?
Well, not yet. You're going to perhaps be able to make that perception check when they have come within 120 feet.
I
I'm gonna
cast
hold my Eldritch Blast for when they get to 120 feet.
I cast aid at level 3. Each of you get 10 extra permanent hit points.
All right, you should all
Do they
have.
Do they stack with the ones that we already have?
No.
Yeah, I think you already cast that today.
Yeah, you cast that already today. Like when we first left, like we haven't had a rest since we left, and we didn't
Oh, okay.
fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
been if it's been less than 8 hours, then yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. So, okay, so I'm going to have us keep using the same initiative. Deleting the other turns. Going to add these new things. They are large. Okay. So, once they are within 120 feet, you see that they look, at least in their silhouettes, very much like wyverns. Meaning, dragons, but with the their upper legs, like the arms are just, the wings, like bats, but with dragon heads otherwise.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, and so they are rolling initiative, and they get um, they rolled low. They get a 3. So what I'm going to say is, at the start of this round, they are within 120 feet. They're flying directly towards you. At the speed that they have been pursuing, they will catch up with you. Like they could get directly at you in the next turn if they continue to fly just straight at you. So, Carolina, your turn.
I'm slightly confused as to how far they are right now. Sorry.
They are 120 feet away up in the
Okay,
sky. Yes.
okay.
Yes.
All right. I guess in that case, because I need them to be a little bit closer for this other thing, I'm gonna use freezing spears at. I'll do it at 4th level.
Is that a 120-foot range?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. See, at higher levels, you create 1 additional spear. Well, I don't want to do that. I thought it was going to increase the damage, but no.
Well, 1 additional spear does damage, like an extra D10. Each spear does a D10 damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you roll
Okay.
for each of them to attack.
Oh, okay.
individually.
You can
Yeah.
hurl them at 1 target or several. Okay. I don't use this spell very much. So, yeah. So we're going to do that. And I think I have to roll an attack for them, right?
Yes,
Freezing
you roll an attack for an attack roll for
Yep.
each one. Yeah.
So 16, and there's 4.
Yeah. So are you you're attacking whichever the closest one is, or are you attacking all of them on the same one, or the 16 does hit?
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to throw them all at 1.
Okay. All right. So 16 hits, a 25 hits.
Let me just make sure. Want to make sure that I do because I'm doing this at 4th level, so it's originally a 2nd level. So I get 2 more. Okay. So that's 5 total.
Okay.
Because it's 3 and then 1 addition. Okay. I got this.
All right. So,
Oh, that's a crit.
all right. Nice. Okay. So you've got 3 hits. You haven't rolled damage for any of them yet. All right. That's 4 hits.
4.
Mm-hmm.
1 more.
All right.
Oh, another crit.
Another crit. Okay. Well, so how about some damage rolls?
Okay.
All right.
10. Oh, that one was crap. Okay, just 1 on that one.
Okay.
And it's 9.
Okay. So 20 total so far, but you're rolling basically 7 d8s. Is that d10s? 7 d10s total.
Yeah, it's 1 d10, so it should be 5 total.
Well, but
because
two
I
two
upcast it
crits.
2 levels.
But 2 crits.
Oh, okay.
So each of those crits is 2 dice.
Okay, so then I need 2 more. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think that's 5,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 20, 27.
I know there was a way more efficient way to do this.
Yeah, that's all right. 28.
Another
All right. 33. Okay. All right. So yeah, you definitely you hit it, and that one that this just does cold damage. It doesn't cause any other sort of effect, right?
Let's see. Their movement speed is reduced by 5 feet,
Okay.
and the movement reduction effect can stack and is
Yeah.
removed at the end of the target's
Yeah,
next
so
turn.
that one is like it is struck, it's clearly injured. It's also it's getting like its wings covered in frost, and it definitely starts to trail behind the others, and so its movement speed is going to be 25 feet slower on its next turn. All right,
That's it.
Vertigo.
Well, seeing ice, let's try fire. I'll try with that same one that got hit
All right.
with a firebolt. I don't normally do that one. How do I? Oh, there we are. Have to attack to hit. It's a 19 to hit.
Certainly hits. Yeah.
7 fire. Is that the result?
Yep.
3d10.
Looks
That's
like it to me.
terrible.
5 and 2 ones. Of course.
Oof.
That's my rolls tonight.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You strike that one also, and you think it does burn them, despite the fact that it also just kind of counteracts that it was super cold before and you heated it back up. But it turns out that they don't cancel each other out. In fact, getting cold and hot heat damage at the same time is tremendously bad for your structural integrity. It causes, expansion and brittleness and fractures. It's very bad. They don't like it.
And I don't imagine there is much, but Vertigo would look for a rock to hide behind.
Okay.
Not that it
Well,
can
like I
hide,
said,
but-
like I said, you can assume that the trees that we're seeing on this actual map are in fact boulders, and you can treat them as such.
Okay, well, he'll move, but I can't.
Can you not move your token?
No, I just couldn't do the measure. I forgot
Okay,
how to do
yeah,
it. It's been a
all
while.
right.
There we go. That's close enough.
Okay.
Oh,
All
wait,
right.
I can fly. I can still
Yes,
fly.
you
I'll
have
just fly
60.
over there.
Yeah. All right. So you take cover behind a boulder.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Zindhorn.
I am going to cast. What is this? Firestorm.
Okay.
Which lets me create 10, up to 10, 10-foot cubes that must touch each other.
Mm-hmm.
And anything in those cubes is going to take 7d10 of damage unless they make their saving throws.
Okay. Firestorm. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So where are you? Where are you putting the cubes?
I'm drawing them on the map.
Okay.
Anything else?
Oh yeah. All right. I gotcha. Okay. So, yeah. You're definitely gonna. They're all gonna have to make the saving throw.
Yep.
Which I will go
Alright,
ahead and.
So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
All right.
Bear in mind the three-dimensionality of this is that they don't have to go fly forward to fly through more of them. But you certainly get them all in this initial attack, but they're going to be able to fly out of the area in their turn.
Okay.
Yeah, just to be clear. Okay, so from top to bottom and left to right, 4, 2, 9, 7. That is 4 bad dexterity save throw rolls in a row for these wyvern constructs. So they all take 41 fire damage, eh?
Yep.
They don't like that at all. However, they are not destroyed. They all
These
take that
look-
41 damage.
Do these look similar to the ones that were attacked when we first came?
No.
I don't remember what those ones were.
Those were big, weird, like
were humanoid.
vaguely humanoid constructs, but they like in the sense that they had sort of a humanoid shape, but they were much bigger. Those were like huge
Okay.
in size and flying, and had a very strange construction where like their pieces didn't match.
Okay.
All right, yes, so that did a lot of damage. Good work. These things are still, they're not taken out. They're still pursuing, but you definitely hurt them quite a bit just then.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to delete the square that I made by accident.
Don't worry, I get it.
All right.
I will go ahead and remove the others. On their turn, they're gonna move out of it, and it actually
Okay.
doesn't stay anyway, right? You made it happen right there, and then it's gone.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
All right, that's all right. I'm just going to go ahead and take them away. That's all right. Okay, Zaleen, it's your turn.
Eldritch Blast
Okay.
at the 3 in the front line there.
All right, one for each.
Yep.
One of those is the one that's taken the most damage so far. 21. Is this from top to bottom, those three? Wow,
Yeah.
you guys are getting some good rolls here. That's great. So 21, 23, and a crit. So those certainly all hit. Okay. 8, 9, and then 10. All right. That one that's taken the most punishment is definitely starting to look pretty rough right now. All right.
Is that the one that's currently in the lead?
Yes. But it won't be anymore because its movement speed was slowed. So on their turn, it's not going to be able to move as quickly.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, so these things actually don't have, like, in hindsight, I think you suspect they might have sent something else after you if they had had sort of more time to plan it, because these things don't have a lot of ranged capability. They're designed to come in and swarm and attack in melee. So that is what they're trying to do, but they're, I think what they are going to do actually is, yeah, the three that have their full movement speed are going to basically dash to land right next to you. Like that. This one is 50 feet slower than them, so it's still 50 feet away, even when it dashes. So we'll have that. You know, it's coming, but it's slower that turn because of the freezing spears. So they did have to dash to get up there, but now they've landed on the ground, and you can see that these wyvern shapes are in fact robot wyverns. They're made of metal and wires and arcane glowing components, and they are otherwise wyvern in shape and do seem like they're going to do some classic wyvern stuff, like, you know, teeth and claws and stinger and such. So that is their turn. Carolina, you're up. This thing is about to chomp you.
Yeah, that negated what I was going to do. I am never going to get to use prismatic spray. It's just not ever going to happen. So instead, I am going to use Bigby's hand.
All right. I believe I have a token for that.
Trying to which one is? Let's see. Okay, I think we're gonna do the interposing hand so that I can get out of range here of this guy, because I don't like him in my face.
Let's see. I thought I had a better one than this, but this will work. It's big, right? It's large size.
Yes.
So read me the text of interposing hand.
All right. The hand interposes itself between you and a creature you choose until you give the hand a different command. The hand moves
Okay.
to stay between you and the target.
I think right now there's not enough room for it to be there, but you could have it do a shove instead, and then
Okay.
be interposing next time.
The forceful hand.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but right now there's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
enough room for it to be in between you.
Yeah. See, the hand attempts to push a creature within 5 feet of it in a direction I choose.
Or you could
Okay.
have just punch it. That works too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your hand. It's your big old hand.
What size are these creatures?
They're large.
These wyverns?
Yeah.
They're large? Okay. So, could actually grapple it
Mhm.
because it's huge or smaller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me which one.
Here's what I find.
My watch is talking to me. Okay, yeah, we're gonna use grasping hand.
Okay. So what they need to roll against a grapple check?
You use the hand strength score to resolve the grapple. So
Okay. So they're gonna get
26. Okay. 18.
that's pretty good. They're gonna have a hard time beating that. Let's see. They got a 17, but that's not enough. So yes, your Bigby's hand grapples that wyvern construct, and it makes a harsh, sort of artificial.
And then bonus action, going to use the hand to crush it.
Okay.
So that is bludgeoning damage 2d6.
Cool.
8.
All right. Yeah. You
And then,
hear come some of its panels crumple.
I'm gonna. Why? Can't move. I was gonna move my person, but I can't. So,
You can't?
nah, it won't let me grab
Oh,
it.
for Pete's sake. Never mind. It's should work now.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. That was here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay, we'll go there.
All right. Okay. Vertigo.
Okay.
The one we've hit the most, does it look like it's rough, or does it look like?
Oh, yes. Yes. The one that you've hit the most is pretty rough right now.
Okay.
Like it's not, it's not on. It's not got like one hit point, but it's certainly very injured compared to what it was before.
Okay. Let's take care of that one. I think that Vertigo will focus on that one.
Okay.
Just trying to decide how much of my
Yeah. So the one
Limited
the one
space.
that is been hurt the most is the one that's still 50 feet away because it's
yeah
you've slowed.
yeah
Yeah.
50 feet. Okay, for that then, why not? Let's just keep this joke rolling, and I'll Nedry will point a chilly finger and cast a ray of frost
Okay.
at it. It's a 9 to hit, so that doesn't hit.
All right. Well, yes. Nine does not hit.
And back behind the rock.
Okay. Okay. So Zinhorn, that makes it your turn.
All righty. I am going to cast spiritual weapon as my bonus action. So I guess I should do my melee first on the one in front of me. I'm going to hit it with my freezing drill spear,
Okay.
and I'm going for max damage, leaving the spear in.
All right.
got a
Well,
30.
30 will certainly hit. Yeah.
Okay, and this is larger than man size. That's 14 points of damage.
All right.
And then at 5th level, I'm going to cast my spiritual weapon.
Gotcha. Get
I'm
you your
going-
hammer.
Yep. Which is a 17. And the hammer is going to be at the one that is wounded. So I'm gonna
You
Oh,
can
is
yeah
that in range?
yeah it was 50 feet away. So if you can make your hammer
Yep.
be 60 feet away, then yeah. Although
Yep.
it's going to immediately fly out of that range after one turn, but you can certainly do it. There, yeah.
Yep. Well, I rolled a 17. Does that
All right,
hit?
17 does hit.
All right.
All right.
13 points of damage.
Okay. It is looking extremely rough, but it's not down yet.
Okay.
Okay. Zaleen.
I'm gonna cast Blight
All
at
right.
level 6 on this guy in front of me.
Okay. That's a
So it's Constitution
save.
17. Yep.
Right. Let me roll that. I'm just double checking to make sure that it doesn't have anything saying that it's like
It was
So-
plants and magical plants.
but actually, so I did just look, and it says this spell has no effect on undead or constructs. But I'll rule that you would know that, so you don't have to
Okay.
waste the spell.
Oh man. That's too big. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, that's not very good either.
It's hissing and
Damn it.
snapping at you.
And
It just can't wait to be able to actually do something.
I know. I want to cast Insect Plague, but
Okay.
away from us,
All right.
so it would catch like this one, and then the one dying in the background.
Okay. Well, so that one's so. How big is insect plague?
300 feet.
300 feet. Is that right? I don't
Yeah.
think the area of effect is 300 feet.
Range
Is it?
area 300.
Well,
300
okay. Well,
feet
that means you
by
can
20 feet.
place the center within 300 feet.
Right.
But the size of the effect isn't 300 feet.
300 feet by 20 feet. So
Well, but I think what I mean, I'm looking it up to confirm. But
20-foot
swarming. So
radius.
yeah, they fill a
Yeah.
20-foot radius sphere. So, but that you can place that sphere up to 300 feet away.
okay.
Yeah. So, what that means is that you're going to have a circle that is 20-foot radius, which means that. So you can.
Can we move it to catch all three of them?
So the one that is still 50 feet away won't be in it yet, and it could potentially fly around it. But you can certainly get two of them, or you could get
Okay.
all three of the ones on the ground if you include yourself. I mean, that's up to you. I don't know. I don't
No.
know that I would do it. I just wanted to make sure you knew you had the option.
I don't want to do that.
All right. So they make Constitution saving throws, which is going to be, all right, there we go. First one gets a 14. Second one gets a 10.
Hell.
Okay. Yeah, they're both going to take 25 piercing damage as these conjured insects start just drilling in and working themselves into the joints and drilling through the soft bits. 25 damage, huh? Okay, let's see. Neither of them are destroyed, but both of them are definitely bloodied. And then some. And it stays around as long as you don't move it, presumably, right? Yeah. And the one is still grappled, so it might not be able to get away. Yeah, so the one that is currently grappled by the hand is going to just try to break free of it. So I think you have to repeat your strength check, Starla. Yeah, and it only gets a 9, so my guess is that the hand is going to maintain its grapple. Yeah, versus a 23. Yeah, so not only is it unable to break the grapple, but it is held in place within the insect plague. The others are like going to move out of the insect plague. But this one is going to attack you. You see that it has first it's going to try to bite you. And it gets an 8. It misses pretty badly there, I think. And then it is going to sort of whirl and try to sting you with a strange little needle that looks like it has injectors on it on the end of its tail. And that is, yeah, that's a 22 to hit. So I assume that hits. That's going to be 8 piercing damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Who's that against?
Zaleen.
Okay.
Whoops. So yeah, that means that you find as this little dagger tail sticks into you, it injects you with something, and you feel it start to burn. And in addition to the piercing damage, you're going to take 9 acid damage and it feels like it does continue to burn, like it's still working. Okay,
I have
that
a
is.
question.
Yeah.
Because it started its turn in the insect plague,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it supposed to take damage again?
Um, no,
I'm
so the way these spells work can be complicated. I think what we really should have done is not have them take it right away, and then they do take it when their turn starts, but they definitely don't take it twice.
It says when the area appears, each creature in it must make a Constitution saving throw. A
Mhm.
creature takes 4d10 piercing damage on a fail, or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
A creature must also make this saving throw when it enters the spell's area
Or
or
ends its turn.
ends its turn.
So if it's already in it at the start of its turn and moves out of it on its turn,
Okay.
yeah. So
All
if
right.
on its turn it goes in, then
Mhm.
yes. But if it's just coming out, then no.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like it's complicated, but it doesn't like get to hit twice before it can even do anything. Okay, and so then this other one that's by you, Zinhorn, is also going to try to bite and then stab you with its stinger. The bite is only an 11 to hit, but then the stinger for you is a 24 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, and then that's going to do 14 piercing damage and a Constitution saving throw, please.
Constitution saving throw. 11.
Okay, so you also find that it injects poison into you, or acid into you, and you're going to take another 5 acid damage.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, you can feel like this it is continuing to work. You can make saves again on your turn, but it's going to keep happening until you beat the save. All right. That is those two, and then the one that's up here, I think, is injured enough. Let's see. You know what? I think its primary thing was it's injured enough, and it was trying to get away from the spiritual weapon, and so I think it doesn't realize the danger, and it will fly into the insect plague. And it's a Constitution save. Was it first? Yeah. So that was. I
Do
got
I
a
roll
14.
the damage again?
Yes.
Okay. It's a fail.
Okay. Yeah, 14 is a fail. So. Yeah,
That
these
one
things
dice
are not
just kept
super smart.
spinning.
Yeah, and so that is enough that as it flies into that insect plague and the insects start working their way into its various mechanisms, it just loses all control and it just crashes into the ground and it seems to be destroyed. So that one's dead. Alrighty. And then the one up here that was forced to stay there is also gonna be subject to it again. That time it got a 9 on its Constitution save. They're actually not terrible at this, but they're rolling really bad for those. So it also is going to take another 30 damage, and that one is almost destroyed, but not quite. I was going to let you use the same roll from before, but
You can take the lower one. It's okay. Like if it was 2 separate turns, that's fine with me.
Okay, all right. In that case, I you know what? I'm going to give it to you because I was going to give it to you, but I appreciate the offer. So this one is almost destroyed. Okay, Carolina, it's your turn.
Alrighty. So, I am going to move. Nedry is right in my way. That is exactly where I want it to be.
The rock looked comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have fly on you. You could just like fly over his head.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go like right here then.
All right.
And then I'm gonna use lightning bolt
Nice.
on these 2 guys right in a row.
I like it. So that's dex
so
saves
that is
for them.
Yeah, dex 17.
Okay, the left-hand one gets a 6. Wow. Okay, and then the other one gets a 7. They're getting some low rolls. So, okay, 31 lightning damage for both of them, huh? All
So
right.
the thing
Zap.
is, that is a 5 foot wide blast.
Mhm.
Is Zinhorn
No, you can
okay?
yeah, you're good. So like it's,
I,
that basically row of squares is all good. So like, yeah, you know.
oh, and then bonus action, crushing the
All
guy
right.
again.
Yeah.
Crush, crush.
So go ahead and roll your
Find it
what,
again.
2d6 I think for that one.
Uh,
Yeah.
where'd you go, Bigby? There you are. Clenched fist.
Mhm.
Is that the one I was using? Yeah, that is 48.
No, clenched fist is the punch.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're right. Okay,
Mhm.
hold on.
Grasping or something, right? I believe it was 2d6.
Yeah, yeah. 2d6. Yeah.
Mhm.
Here we go. 9.
That is enough, it turns out. And so it is crunched to pieces in the grasp of your Bigby's hand. Also, one of the one by Zaleen that you hit with the lightning bolt is also almost destroyed. The other one's got a little bit left in it, but they're both pretty bad. Okay, Vertigo.
Okay. Seeing things are a little bit better off. Vertigo will kind of pop his head out, concentrate really hard. The air behind his head starts to form tiny pinpricks of ice that grow very rapidly into fist-sized chunks. And he launches those chunks right here, which it is a 5 foot radius.
Gotcha.
Effect. Dex 15 as I cast a 4th level of Snillix Snowball Swarm.
Nice. Okay, so the left hand one gets a 7, and then the other one gets a 12. So I think
Okay.
that's going to be a fail for both.
And that is 4th level, not 7th. That would have been interesting. Yep, and it is. Oh, it's not going to roll it from. Let's go. There we go. So it's only 16 cold damage each.
All right. Well, that is enough to freeze one of them solid.
Actually, I rolled a 1 and a 2 there.
Yeah.
So why not? I'm going to empower that spell, spend a sorcery point to reroll 2 dice,
Okay.
and roll 2d6. So instead it is 10, 13, 19 points. You don't have to do
All
too
right.
much, I
Well,
guess.
so
But
that
whatever.
the original was enough for one of them. The other, but 19 is 3 more than the other one would have had. So that one is looking extremely rough too. One of them is like it just sort of freezes solid and then tips over and falls down, and one of its wings snaps off. The other one is fighting through it, but almost down. Zinhorn,
Alrighty.
it is on the verge of destruction in front of you.
I'm going to hit it again with my freezing drill spear,
Mm-hmm.
which there it is. Okay. 15.
All right.
I'm guessing
Okie
that will
dokie.
not hit.
15 does in fact hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
All right.
I thought you just left it in it and just does damage each round.
Oh,
You did say last time that you were
Yes,
going to leave it in,
yes.
but yeah. So okay.
all right. So it will do. So in that case, can I use the dagger of blind sight to hit and
Yeah.
drill
Don't you,
gets
do you
its
have
damage?
to? Yeah. Yes. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So the drill gets its damage, which will be 12, and then
Well, no. So the drill doesn't get the full attack damage when you just leave
Oh.
it in. It does. It's a different roll, right?
So hold on.
I mean I can look it up too, but
Yeah.
it does say on
Yeah,
there.
Begins draining all the heat from the
Mm-hmm.
targets. All right, I'm just confused.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry. having trouble reading.
That's okay. That's okay. But I just mean
Yeah.
I have to look it up myself. That's all right.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well,
So 1d6
Yeah. So
damage.
if you leave it in, it takes an additional 1d6.
okay.
Um,
So it's going to take 1d6, and then I
um,
get.
It also
Oh wait,
takes
no,
2d6
excuse me.
cold at the
No,
end of
so
its turn.
it takes 1d6 if it pulls it out. If it doesn't
Okay.
pull it out, it takes 2d6 at the end of its turn, which
Okay.
it would have happened already. So roll 2d6. This is before your turn is even happening, but you also don't have the spear in your hand.
Right.
Okay.
So it took 7
Yeah.
points.
It is not
and
destroyed,
then-
but it's very bad.
And then I hit it with the. I already rolled to hit and hit, so I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to use my dagger,
Sure.
and that got 9 points of damage.
Okie dokie. That is. How do you finish it off?
I lift its head up and jam the dagger, but at the joint between its head and its spine, if it had been an actual
Mm-hmm.
living thing, and then slide it sideways and dislocate its head from its body, and the whole thing just.
There's an electrical
Flops.
pop, and then several of the glowing bits along its long serpentine neck kind of flare up, but then go dark, and it flops over limp. All right. So you have dispatched all of these things, and I think as you are sort of taking a moment to catch your breath, an illusion appears in your vicinity, and it looks like that severe tiefling that you saw in the board. When you watch it appear, and I don't think it's unclear. It looks translucent, so it's an obvious illusion. But it appears, and it just says, "You have no idea what you've done, but it doesn't matter, because this trespass cannot be forgiven. We're very good at finding people. Have fun running." And then it disappears.
Well, same old, same old.
Yeah.
Nedry will
Making
crawl
friends
over the
where we go.
all over the constructs
Mm-hmm.
and try to figure out if they contain those spheres, those orbs.
They do.
You'll collect those if you can.
Yeah.
But-
It takes a few minutes because they're clearly in fixtures designed to hold them and channel them. So it takes some working, but you can do it. It can be done.
Just in case.
All right. And so I think with that, with the die is cast at last. We will leave it there for this week. And what comes next for the Pocket Protectors here on the island of Dinethere? We'll find out in 2 weeks, because there's no game next week. But we will return in 2 weeks for more adventure on so many levels.
So many levels of falling
Heights.
off of cliffs.